Hi guys. As you can tell, we are in a total different scene right now. We are actually in Nashville, Tennessee. I came here this morning, so I did not think that there was going to be any show. I did not expect this at all, but I did bring my equipment, obviously. I just didn't bring my microphone, so obviously the audio is not going to sound as good. But we have some breaking news. The Supreme Court actually ruled that Trump has immunity for official acts, likely delays trial past election. Now, this is a really good ruling from the Supreme Court because of the fact that this is exactly what they were supposed to rule on. This is the way that they were supposed to rule. And it is so simple to understand that presidents have certain kinds of immunity because they are president. If they didn't have immunity, then as soon as they become not president, they will all be prosecuted. And there would be so many other people throughout history that would be up to prosecution because of the fact of how they acted while they were president. So is it a good precedent to prosecute a former president for official acts that he did? No, it's not. So of course there's a very strong line, and I believe that they did draw that line. The line is that you do not go and kill your political enemies. You don't go and prosecute your political enemies. That's the line that they drew. And I think that they should go and rule on that line, because of the fact that why are you going to sit here as the commander-in-chief of the military of the strongest country in the world and prosecute your political enemies or instruct the military to actually kill them? That's not something that you should be doing whatsoever. That's not something that the American people agree with. That's not something that the military agrees with. And that's not something that America needs right now. Really, it's really not. So, according to the Daily Wire, the Supreme Court issued a ruling on Monday that Donald Trump's claim of presidency immunity to shield himself from federal prosecution is valid for official acts, but not for unofficial conduct. In a partial victory for their former president, justices voted 6-3 along ideological lines, which is actually not a good thing whatsoever. Because if you vote along ideological lines, then people are going to look at the Supreme Court as if you're trying to bail out your buddy. They're going to look at all the Republicans on the Supreme Court, and they're going to say, well, you're trying to bail out your political friend. You're trying to bail out your ally in exchange for your enemy getting off the hook or getting prosecuted, or maybe getting prosecuted. Who knows? So the thing is, now when we're voting along ideological lines, the left can go and say that this is a right-leaning court. And they already think this because of Dobbs. They already think this. So this is not going to help any situation that we have here. This is not going to fix any situation that we have here. And I agree with the ruling, but they should have convinced at least one other person on the other side to vote the opposite way. So it wasn't just along the ideological lines like it was 6-3. The president is not above the law, the ruling said, but under our system of separated powers, the president may be prosecuted for exercising his core constitutional powers, and he is entitled to at least presumptive immunity from prosecution for his official acts, of course. So why would you prosecute a president for doing his official acts? It doesn't make much sense. Because the ruling was released so late on the final day of the term, the AP noted that the justices reduced or eliminated the chances of a trial being held before the November election. And the case may already be weakened by a prior ruling that found that the Justice Department went way too far with January 6 related obstruction charges. Quote, a big one for our Constitution and democracy, proud to be an American, Trump explained on a Truth Social post after the ruling. The case now returns to the United States District Judge Tiana Kutkan for determining what constitute as official acts. Now, it's going to be treading on a line here. Is the district court going to agree with Trump, or is the district court not going to agree with Trump? Are they going to rule in Trump's favor? This is what we're going to find out, and it will keep you guys updated on this case. The conservative Justice Amy Coney Barrett considered with most of the opinion, but disagreed with the restriction of introducing projected conduct as evidence, saying that there was no need to depart from the familiar in-time tested procedure here. All three liberal justices opposed the ruling in her dissent. Justice Sonia Sotomayor suggested the majority's reasoning would allow a president to get away with ordering the Navy SEALs, Team 6, to assassinate a political rival, organizing a military coup to stay in power, and taking a bribe in exchange for a partisan. With fear or democracy, I dissent, she wrote, which is just nuts, to say the very least, because this is not going to happen. You really expect a president of America to call in SEAL Team 6? Let's be for real right now. Like, I know that the left is crazy. I know there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there. But can we be honest with ourselves for 1 second? Do you really think the president of America is going to do this? Why would America do this? And, if we're being completely honest here, the only evidence that we have to back this is Joe Biden doing it, because he called in the FBI for pro-life protesters outside of abortion clinics. So if we have evidence of somebody doing it, it's of Joe Biden doing it to his political enemies, not Trump doing it to his. It's the complete opposite worlds that the left is living in. It's just absurd. This is the reality of the situation that we have to go through every single day, of course. It's because of the left. The left does not understand what they're even talking about. And then when they go and try to explain it, it's like, what are you even talking about? And some people on the right even sound like this. Their conspiracy theories are so far on the deep end that they don't even realize what they're saying. They would contradict themselves, and they wouldn't even make any sense of what they're saying because they're trying to prove their point even farther. But their point is now in void because of what they said prior. So don't even get me started on these conspiracy theories like Russia, and all of the other conspiracy theories that the left came up with, supposedly against the former President Trump. But the thing is, none of these came to fruition, and they never will, because it's not reality. The left does not live in reality for some strange reason. I don't know why. They're just stupid. Trump's lawyers filed to dismiss the case in October of last year by asserting that the former president's actions were within the heartland of his official duties. The federal prosecutors, led by Special Counsel Jack Smith, argued that the defense immunities agreement threatened to give presidents a license to commit crimes while in office. Kutkan, an appointee of former President Barack Obama, has sprouted Trump's immunity claim, saying that the defendant's 4-year service as commander-in-chief does not bestow on him the divine right of kings to evade the criminal accountability that governs his fellow citizens. Yes, but the thing is, as president of America, you have more rights than the average citizen. You're not going to sit here and say the chief of the most extreme or the most powerful military in the whole entire world, you're not going to sit here and say that they have the same classification standards as the average American. Then you're not going to sit here and say that they have the same exact responsibilities as an average American. No. You're going to sit here and agree that the president of America is a role that is looked up upon, that is looked at as in greatness, not something that is looked down upon or on the same exact scale as an average American. That's not true. We don't look at the president of America and say, well, that's just an average person right there. No, because they're a special person. They have special privileges. They know classified materials, and they're expected to uphold a standard of conduct while they're in office, or even after leave office. They're expected to have a certain standard, and they're expected to actually go along with that standard even after they leave office, because of the fact that that might embarrass our country, because that is a former president. They're held to a higher standard. A federal appeals court panel also rejected the immunity argument in early February ruling. By the end of the month, the Supreme Court agreed to take up the question. Kutkan had set a trial date for March 4th, one day before a Super Tuesday, but the plan fell by the wayside. The High Court heard arguments in April. Last year, in December, the Supreme Court denied a bid by prosecutors to fast-track consideration of the immunity claim, arguing that a quick resolution to allow the trial to proceed was an imperative public importance. Trump's defense lawyers said the question should be considered in a cautious, deliberative manner. Trump has faced 3 other criminal matters during his 2024 campaign, including another case led by Smith over former president's handling of classified documents, as well as civil litigation. Attorneys for Trump cited presidential immunity in a request to dismiss the documents case in which the judge has indefinitely postponed the trial. In a New York hush money case, a jury convicted Trump on all accounts. Sentencing is scheduled for July 11th. Just days before the GOP convention, Trump vowed to appeal. A case in Georgia that also relates to the 2020 election has been paused, likely after the 2024 contest, as Fulton County District Attorney Fani Wallace fights to stay involved. So, of course, here's the thing. Every single time the Democrats try to do something against former President Trump here, we see exactly what they're doing, so it never works. But the thing is, it could easily work if they were actually conducting themselves appropriately, if they were not fooling around and acting like the rule of law is something to joke around with or use just to prosecute their political enemies. If they did not act this way, then they could have got their way multiple times. They could have got Hillary Clinton in 2016. They could have got Joe Biden to stay in office probably later than he probably should have. So the thing is, if you're going to sit here and try to push a particular agenda, the left doesn't do it right, and that's what happens here. The realization that the left is actually lying to us is breaking like a scrambled egg. And more people are starting to see, well, if they're lying on this, what else are they lying about? Well, if they're lying on this, and this, and this, then they're lying about everything. And then they stop trusting the Democrats and start trusting the Republicans. That's exactly what's going to happen from now on if the Democrats keep acting this way. And you know what? I say let them do it. That's going to do it for this episode of the Demetrius Ruggero Show. I know that it's a little bit shorter of an episode. That's because of the fact that, like I said, I was traveling all day, so I didn't really have time to prepare an episode, but I did want to have this beautiful background of Tennessee, because Tennessee is such a great city. That's why when I was investigating the city a little bit today, I'm going on a tour tomorrow, I'm just really glad that I'm here. I'm glad that I have the opportunity to travel. Not a lot of people have the opportunity to travel, so I'm really grateful for that. I actually put out a vlog of my travels today. If you do want to see the room that I'm staying in, it's really, really good. It's a really nice room. I do appreciate everything that happened today because of the fact that I have the opportunity to do these things. So, of course, stay grateful, everybody. You don't know what you have until you lose it, because you never know. You could just not have the ability to travel anymore because something can happen. So I like to take this opportunity to travel all of America, and I have this goal set for myself that I travel all throughout America before I turn 30. So then when I turn 30, I can go abroad and start traveling internationally. So it's really interesting to start seeing the United States, because now when the city that I still do live in, you get concealed. You're like, okay, well, this is life. This is reality. This is society. And then you go and expand your horizons a little bit, and you start seeing Nashville, or you start seeing Florida, or I would say Miami, or I would say St. Petersburg. I would say a city inside of Florida, but more broadly, right? If you go to a state like Tennessee and you're like, wow, this is a huge state, or you go to a state like Florida, like this is a crazy state here, or Texas, or California, or Nevada. Like for me, I'm trying to see all the Republican states first because I know that they're a little bit better. But the thing is, obviously there's some beautiful stuff in Democrat states and in cities, but the Democrats always ruin them with leftist politics. So I'm not going to go over to San Francisco and see a bunch of homeless people pooping on the street. I'm not going to go to California and go to something like LA. For what? Why would I go and do that? So, I'm going to stay away from these leftist-run cities and states more broadly, and I'm going to go to the Republican states first because, of course, they agree with my politics. But not just that, but they govern a lot better because of the fact that, look at the people that are there. They're more happy. There's less homelessness. There's no pooping on the streets. Everybody is actually just thriving in these states because of the fact that these conservatives know how to govern and these Republicans know how to govern. So, with that being said, we're going to end off this episode here. If you did like this episode and you do want to see more, I do have new episodes of my show every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but I'm not going to be posting tomorrow. Usually I would try to post every single day, just clips of my show, but new episodes obviously release every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But the thing is, obviously I'm going on the tour tomorrow, so on Wednesday. So that's still a new episode, just no posting until Wednesday. So with that being said, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening, and I hope they have a great rest of your day. Bye.